What new hobbies have you picked up this year, and would you recommend them to others? Calligraphy is fun. It improves your handwriting and forgery. Handwriting. Oh, that's nice. Forgery. Now hold on a second. Reading, or listening to, all the books one of your favorite author has written. I finished Kurt Vonnegut and now working on John Irving. Reading Irving's books back to back takes away from his greatness, while it made Vonnegut seem like the greatest of all time. I've been collecting rocks and crystals for a while, but I've finally gotten the tumbler and started polishing them. The end results are cool to see, but the process takes a month or more depending on the type of stone. So if you're a deeply impatient person, or a perfectionist, you have very little control over how the stones turn out and there will be flaws. I don't know if I do recommend it. They're minerals, Mary. My daughter works at Joann's and came home with a rock tumbler from work. Okay, we all said, the rocks that thing produces are cooler than hell. I've always wanted to try this. My sister had one when we were young. Is the tumbler actually running for that month or more? I remember her impatience, but no idea how long she had to wait. My great grandpa was a rock hound. Dude was a surgeon and served in both world wars. But in his free time aside from drinking, he enjoyed finding neat rocks. I inherited/found his old rock bag in my grandma's basement. It has lead lining in the middle. The airport is very confused by it. Scarily enough, about half the time it gets searched by hand. The other half, no one notices that you literally cannot see half of the bag on the scanner. Way to go, WhatsApp. Can't really call it a hobby, but for the past month since COVID started and classes are suspended, I enrolled myself in free online classes such as photography, editing, art, etc. It's nice to have a little hand of skills and knowledge when the time comes. Where do you take these classes? Archery. It's a lot of fun and an excellent way to clear your mind. I fully agree with your statement. I absolutely love it. What type of bow is your go-to? Where/how can I start? It seems intimidating. Experimenting with cooking. Following a recipe online that you found is also good, but there's just an extra layer of enjoyment and discovery to be had when I try to work things out on my own, especially when ingredients are limited. It's like a puzzle you can eat. The main point, to not let not perfect overshadow good enough. You probably aren't gonna be winning any awards with your first few attempts, but that doesn't mean what you created isn't special in its own right. When I try a new recipe, I follow it, then I can figure out ways to make it better. This and baking. Sourdough has been super fun for me since I started in March. Cooking is an art. Once you begin to understand flavor combos and some tips and tricks, it becomes something you can do by feel. Recipes become more of a guide than a list of instructions. Once you reach that point, it gets even more fun. And the best part, it doesn't take too much to reach that point. I subscribe to a bunch of cooking channels I like on YouTube. Binging with Babish, Adam Ragusia, Internet Shaquille, Kent Rollins, and many more. You can pick up a lot from watching these channels, and then use that in practice by following their recipes. I think watching what you are supposed to do makes it 100x easier. I've been lockpicking. It takes sustained mental focus, which has been nice to get the mind off of all that's going in. Plus, if the apocalypse comes, I'll have a useful skill, which is a bonus. How do you start this? Prepping for September. Started learning languages. Recommend it for sure. I agree, but you have to commit a lot more once you get to the intermediate level, I think. I did Babbel and Duolingo. I blew through Duolingo and Babbel was a bit better, but eventually, you get to the end, and you're still not fluent. Now I've been reading books I know well in English and Spanish like Harry Potter, reading the dialogue out loud, and explaining the plot to my dog in Spanish on dog walks. It's been really helpful. I highly recommend learning a new language. I feel everyone should take a stab at it. It's like rewriting the basic programming of your brain. Walk a mile in a man's shoes and you'll know where he's been. But put his words into your mouth and you'll understand how he thinks. So I'm intermediate in one other language, but I decided to learn another one, Irish. Am I Irish? No. Do I know anyone who's Irish? No. Have I ever been to Ireland? No. Do Irish people even speak Irish? No. Do I have any real legitimate reason to learn this language? No. But It's a bitchin' crazy strange language that sounds like you're speaking backwards in your dreams, and it makes no sense even though it's phonetic, and I really like it and can't stop learning it, and I highly recommend finding a crazy language for yourself that you love and enjoy speaking panting ahem. So yeah, languages are cool and you should learn one to be cool too. Sewing. I lost my grandma this year and she used to sew and knit a lot. I was given her sewing machine, so whenever I use it, I feel closer to her. Edit. Thank you so much to everyone for the wishes, advice, and awards. It's been a little overwhelming, but I'm so thankful to everyone for all their comments. This year has been so stressful, losing my grandma, doing my final year law exams, and cutting out a friend of 10 years, all within the space of 2 months. So all the support means the world to me. My nana liked to sew as well. She's still with us, but has deteriorated eyesight and cannot sew anymore. My nan gave my mum her sewing box, which had heaps of odd cut fabric. Some fabric is older than me. I turned those fabrics into scrunches. Nan was so excited to see them. She can remember what she made with them and was so pleased to see the fabric get a new life. I bet she would love you are using her machine. Me too. I started making masks in April and now I'm quilting and working up the courage to jump into apparel. Still making masks too. Gardening and learning to play the guitar. Both are therapeutic. I've been learning guitar also. For all the newbies, Justin Guitar has a website and a YouTube channel that will take you pretty much wherever you need to go with a guitar. Marty Music on YouTube is also an amazing resource for learning pieces of songs you like, which is an incredible motivator to keep playing. I've been playing for 14 years. I'm not amazing. I spend most of my time playing just messing around with pedals / making noise, but I will play for the rest of my life because I enjoy it. You don't have to be Jimmy Page or Ingwe. You don't have to be able to shred. Music is about so much more than being good. Just have fun. I'm a long-time gardener, and it's been great that so many more people are getting into it this year. Guitar is therapeutic until you have to learn F-chord. Guitar is great, and there's so much you can do with it. What have you learned on the guitar so far? I've been trying to learn a few chords recently myself. Started meditating this year, almost at 100 days in a row. I would recommend, but I would start easy with just 5 minutes in a session and build your way up over time. What does your meditation consist of? Thought you said started medicating. I started reading again. I finished more books this year already than I have the last 5 years combined. Got serious into reading. You really learn many things from books. Any recommendations? Analog photography. Fun to get a cheap camera and, not really cheap, film. Send to develop and practice exposing photos. Or buy some B&W films and develop them by yourself in your basement. Don't do astrophotography. You'll never crawl out of the broke hole. I started watching Bob Ross The Joy of Painting videos. I followed along to a handful of them, but did it in Photoshop rather than actually paint. His voice is super relaxing, and I get into such a state of content and zen. I highly recommend it. It's one of the handful of things that have helped reduce a little of my anxiety this year. I think Bob Ross would have been proud of you taking the initiative to create works of art through such a different medium. Keep on creating, my dude, and best of luck with handling your anxiety. I didn't even think to just do it in Photoshop or GIMP. That's really smart. I wonder if there's a file of exclusive Bob Ross colors for that. I used to always watch Bob Ross after particularly stressful days at work. It has magical powers. Walks. Got a problem? Go for a walk. Got a dog? Go for a walk. Just ate? Go for a walk. Just been shot? Walk it off. Walkies. Are you a dog? This is so my husband. We just got a puppy, and I swear it's his excuse to get out of anything he doesn't want to do. Screaming kids. Dog needs a walk. Cleaning up dinner. Dog needs a walk. Uncomfortable conversation. Oh shit, the dog needs a walk. Been taking my dog for daily walks for around a month now. Just seeing how excited he gets makes it worth it. I'd like to go for more walks, but Texas. I picked up the habit to often walk with my horses, and they have gotten so used to it that it's really relaxing. I now walk them at least once a week and they rarely spook anymore. Crocheting. Edit. I also picked up on Lego architecture sets. I'm currently building Buckingham Palace, but can't find a stud piece with crocheting. I'm currently making a scarf. Same here. Was frustrating at first, but the end products look cool. I finally figured out single crochet this year, and I'm using up my cotton yarn stash to make washcloths. It's been very satisfying. I don't know if you've ever been to r/crochet, but that sub has some of the most positive helpful people. People post stuff on all skill levels and get nothing but tips and encouragement. I started keeping fish shortly before COVID hit, and that has been a really good experience. We got into it with a small betta tank, but now we have a 75-gallon freshwater tank and a 20-gallon reef tank. It's taught me a little about hydroponics, plumbing, water chemistries, and animal care. Hey, I started right before COVID too. I started with a couple guppies in a 12-gallon long. Now I have a 30-gallon, and that 12-gallon still. It's been a really fun hobby. Beware, reef tanks are addictive. Also will dry up a bank account quickly if not careful. Great hobby though, do it myself. 3D printing. It is insane what you can print with a low budget printer. Mine was $200. You can create your own models pretty easily, and if you are too lazy for that you can download cool stuff from Thingiverse. Comes in handy too if you forgot to buy someone a gift. 200 smackaroos? What brand/model is it? I started doing yoga and would definitely recommend it. It's good for you. Are you using a website or something? Chess is good for passing time. Have you used any resource to learn, or have you just been playing? I've gotten into chess recently too. There are a lot of great players live streaming on Twitch like Hikaru and Levy. Ceramics. Just making stuff out of clay is very calming. Get the polymer clay so you can just fire in your oven. I've started keeping a visual journal again. Keeping track of the things I do and see every day gets me off the sofa. I don't want to write sat on Reddit, ate food and worked out every single day. Even if all I do is putter around the garden or go for a walk, at least that generally results in me seeing something new today that I didn't see yesterday. Plus I actively try and notice things instead of just walking obliviously through the same area day after day. Gardening, even just a couple plants. It allows you to visibly see your progress and you learn things when you have questions about your plans. Then if all goes well you get some produce. Nothing feels quite like shaking on some peas you grew yourself and see at the grocery store for $5 to $6 a pack. Good luck. I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube. My current best time is 50.8s. It's pretty fun to see myself progress and learn new things about it. Learned how to solve it 7 years ago. Still frequently fidget with cubes when I'm bored at my desk. Never really gets old, and the muscle memory like really sticks with you. Like it's really easy to multitask while solving a Rubik's Cube. Geocaching. You can do it anywhere. All you need is a phone with decent service. We started doing it with my 8-year-old, and she loves it. We camp a lot throughout our state, but obviously haven't been able to do touristy things this year. This gives us a way to look for new places without being around a lot of people. What app do you use? I've seen a lot of people talking about it, but I don't fully understand. Don't tell all the muggles. I mean, I have started doing home exercise a lot more, and I must say that it's totally worth it. I 100% recommend it due to the fact that you get in shape, get a huge amount of confidence and helps with your mentality about other aspects of your life. I've been trying to work out too, but I can't ever get into it and end up being lazy with them and skipping workouts. Edit. Thanks for the advice. Edit 2. Thanks again. I'll try everything. I've already lost about 6 kilograms, 13 pounds, so I'll do my best. And keeping tried it for a while with one colony, but found the maintenance too much, although I did really enjoy watching them putter around. Terrarium building freaking amazing. So relaxing and calming. Plus I get to wander off into the woods alone to look for new moss. Magnet fishing, tie a magnet to a rope. Pitch it into the water. Bitch about people throwing bottle caps in the water. Find usable tools. Call the POPO when you pull up a gun. Really fun, and you can get started for pretty cheap. With the magnet fishing, have you personally found a gun or weapon? For anyone who's intrigued but doesn't want to take the deep dive into maintaining their own colony, Ants Canada on YouTube is a good narrative based channel that explores the world of ants through unnecessarily dramatic and captivating videos. I didn't actually realize until recently how much I subconsciously learned about ants for someone who doesn't actually like them. Mayo. Growing edible plants, quick growing like lettuce or basil/herbs, and baking breads are really satisfying pretty quickly. Meditation is great, but it takes a while for it to benefit you. It kind of rewires your brain. Takes time and effort. Sourdough pretzels bro. Easier than bread and so delicious. Inline skating. Started in March, so I could learn how to play hockey, and found how much fun it is just to roll around places. It's kept me active throughout all of quarantine, and I find it fun with how high the skill ceiling is for it. I've seen people do some pretty slick maneuvers with them, especially while playing hockey. Definitely sucked to learn in the beginning, but I'm glad I didn't quit. Definitely worth every fall. 1. Writing a journal. You don't have to do it every day and write everything. Just to deal with anxious thoughts. I found it to be therapeutic. We tend to load up too much on our minds. Writing them in a book instead is like dumping them away. 2. Listening to podcasts first thing in the morning serves as a distraction from negative thoughts that make it difficult for you to leave the bed when you wake up. Woodworking. I've made things that I've been able to make a quick buck on. I've also been able to make things I wanted, like a wooden flag, hat rack, etc. Not really a hobby, but I've actually been staying on top of my uni workload instead of doing everything last minute. It has been nice. Yay, I'm gonna have to learn to do that too. I start uni in about a week. Not a hobby cause it's more like a superpower. I always do my stuff during the last piece of classical chamber music XD. I picked up reading. It's great to read small bits off internet and it sure is improving my vocabulary quite well. I'm not an English speaker. Could have fooled me. Piano. I know some people have already tried, but on my second day of self-teaching, I already knew how to play a song. It is really nice once you get into it. You can literally play memes and make your own songs. It's so fun. Have you used any resource to learn? Started complimenting men. Few things are cuter than a grown man getting tickled pink because you said his favorite hat looked cool. I'm a woman. I learned from another Reddit post that men don't get compliments, so I decided to change that. It was hard at first because I'm usually shy, but it got gradually easier and now I just point out things on all people that I think are nice, and it's become as easy as breathing. You're doing God's work. As a man, I just wanna say thank you so much. I find that men really don't get compliments, and the few that they do make their whole week or month and they'll remember that compliment for years. I'm 2 years into college and I can still remember a compliment a girl gave me as clear as day in 8th grade. Wish I'd get complimented. I saw that too. At my local bakery there was this bearded, tattooed dude who had this cool patch on his jacket. It had a puppy on it, and I complimented him on it. He got so pink, it was adorable, and then he said, "Thanks, it's my favorite," and patted the patch dog's head with his finger. Men deserve to feel good about themselves too. Cycling. For my pleasure, and as a way of commuting to work. Feels great, man. Coloring. I especially like mandalas. It's relaxing and creative. I can't draw at all, but I'm great with color. Dungeons and Dragons. Being the DM helped me build up a bit more of self-confidence, finally forcing myself to stop being very shy. I found that very hindering at times. Edit. Thank you for the award, kind stranger. My wife and I joined a beginner group with a bunch of her coworkers just before we went into self-isolation, and it was the best thing we could have done. We went digital and switched to meeting online and started playing more often since everyone was free. We went 3 weeks with a session almost every night between 3 different campaigns and 2 DMs, and now our players are comfortable enough to really start role-playing. It has really helped us keep in touch with our friends and know we have a new amazing hobby. I started last year myself, and I agree completely, this is great advice. Just to add to this, if you are worried about BMing, it's really not too bad at all. If you are worried about how much work it will take or not knowing the rules, 5e is a really intuitive system to learn to DM in. Just grab the starter set called Mines of Phandelver and go from there.
Thanks for watching. If you could like, subscribe and comment best Reddit stories for more Reddit videos.